Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're setting our sights on the Maldives. You know, that picture-perfect chain of islands everyone dreams about.
Absolutely. Pure bliss.
Right, exactly. But instead of just flipping through brochures, we've really gone deep into a whole bunch of travel accounts, itineraries, expert advice, all sorts.
Yeah, we've sifted through curated weeks, budget trips, luxury guides, even a specific 10-day plan.
And the goal here is to basically pull out the absolute best bits, the essentials you need for planning an amazing 10-day first trip.
Like a shortcut to getting inspired in actually knowing what you're doing.
We want to give you the roadmap of what to do, where to explore, what delicious things to eat.
And it's not just about those famous overwater bungalows, is it? There's so much more. Pristine beaches, yes, but also a really vibrant local culture that sometimes gets overlooked.
Totally. So our mission today is to give you those key nuggets for a 10-day trip, make it clear, avoid the information overload, and hopefully spark some real aha moments for your planning.
Let's do it. Where do we start?
Okay, let's dive right in. Days 1 and 2. Arrival in Male, the capital, and then shifting over to Hanifaru.
Right. So you'll fly into Valana International Airport. That's the main one, MLE. Good to keep in mind.
And your first impression of Male might not be what you expect, actually.
Yeah, it's a proper city, quite bustling compared to the serene islands you're probably picturing. Think taller buildings, narrow streets, pretty densely populated.
It's a real contrast, isn't it? But a great way to see a different side of the Maldives straight away.
Definitely. And if you want to soak up that local vibe, the markets are the place to be.
Oh yeah, the vegetable and dry fish market on the North Side Pier sounds fascinating. People mentioned tuna chips, sea almonds.
Dried mango, coconut sticks.
Yeah.
All sorts of local snacks. And right next door is the main fish market by the harbor.
Mid-morning is apparently the time to go. Fishermen coming in on their dhonie boats.
And someone even saw stingrays hanging around the pier hoping for bits of fish.
Wow. Okay, and for culture?
Well, there's the old Friday Mosque. Dates back to 1656, built with coral stone. The carvings are meant to be incredible.
Coral stone, that's amazing. Do you need permission to go in?
Technically, yes, if you're not Muslim, but reports suggest the staff are often helpful outside prayer times. Just be respectful, obviously.
Right. And then there's the Grand Friday Mosque, much newer.
Yeah, that's the one with the big golden dome. Very impressive. Again, modest dress is key if you want to go inside.
Got it. And for lunch nearby.
Seagull Cafe comes up a lot. Apparently, the upper floor has great views of the Grand Mosque. Tuna steak and biryani were mentioned as good choices.
Sounds perfect. And maybe later I'll wander through La Nucire Park. Shady paths, views of the Sinamale Bridge.
A nice bit of green space. And for dinner in Malay, Salatai gets good reviews. Green curry, chicken satay.
Mango sticky rice, always a winner.
Just a heads up, though prayer times can sometimes affect restaurant hours, so worth checking.
Good point. Okay, so from Malay, you'd likely head over the Sinamale Bridge to Hanifaru. That's the reclaimed island, right?
Exactly. It's quite an engineering feat. And Hanifaru offers a different pace, more laid back.
So what's the vibe there? What do you do first thing?
Definitely check out the hotas. Those are the local tea shops, real social hubs.
Ah, okay.
And you've got to try Maafushi, that classic Maldivian breakfast shredded smoked tuna, coconut chili.
Ooh, yes, with chapati bread.
That's the one. Magukalu Hota was mentioned as a good spot. A really authentic start to the day.
Love that. And then maybe hit the beach. Hanifaru has a public beach.
It does, yeah. White sand, swings, even a floating pool, apparently. Just be mindful of local customs. Maybe keep a cover-up handy for when you're not swimming.
Sensible. And for activity?
There's the Hanifaru Water Sports Club. Jet skis, kayaks, snorkeling trips, even surfing lessons or trips to nearby sandbars. Something for everyone, really.
Sounds great. Lunch options.
Red snapper and coffee beans was suggested, known for nice mocktails like one called Banana Mia, and fresh salads, seafood, burgers.
Nice. And in the evening?
A stroll through Central Park could be nice. You see local families out enjoying the cool air. There's a fountain.
Lovely. Dinner in Hanifaru.
Pilabu's restaurant comes recommended for Sri Lankan food, like kotu roti or string hoppers.
Kotu. Okay, so those first 2 days give you this really interesting contrast of the busy capital and then this more relaxed coastal town. Sets you up nicely.
Exactly. A good foundation before you head further afield.
Right. So days 3 and 4, where are we off to next?
We're heading to Digura, which is in the Alif Dal Atoll. You'd typically take a ferry. It's about a 2.5-hour journey.
Okay. And Digura is a local island. What does that mean for a visitor?
Well, it's a really significant point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Until about 2010, tourists generally couldn't stay overnight on these inhabited local islands. It was mostly just the private resorts.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that recent.
Yeah, so staying on islands like Digura now gives you this amazing opportunity for genuine cultural immersion, staying in guest houses, interacting with locals. It's a very different feel to a resort.
More authentic, perhaps?
Definitely. Expect incredible warmth from the people,
Mm-hmm.
but also remember it's a Muslim country, so on local islands, there's no alcohol served, no pork, and you'll want to dress more modestly in the village areas. Beaches often have designated bikini beaches for tourists.
Good to know. And Digura itself, what's it like?
It's described as teardrop-shaped, a fishing village primarily, with about 2 miles of beach and this beautiful, sheltered blue lagoon. Sounds idyllic.
It really does. Accommodation there. Any recommendations?
TME Retreats Digura was mentioned. It's beachside, has a restaurant, helps arrange activities, and it's near that bikini beach area.
Perfect. And activities from Digura, I'm guessing water-based.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This area, Alif Dal Azhol, is world famous for whale sharks. So whale shark safari is a huge draw. Island divers is one operator mentioned.
Swimming with whale sharks? Incredible.
Totally. You can also go parasailing, imagine the views, maybe even spot whale sharks or mantas from up there. And the scuba diving is phenomenal too. Lots of sights.
Sounds amazing. What up just chilling on the island? Food.
Your guest house or hotel will likely have a restaurant, often doing a mix of Maldivian and Western food. There's also a place called Hermit's that's apparently famous for its coconut ice cream.
Coconut ice cream on a tropical island. Sold.
Right. In the afternoon, you could explore the village itself, maybe wander down towards the southern end where there are gardens and some smaller resorts, and definitely spend time swimming or snorkeling off the Bikini Beach. Whale sharks, mantas, turtles are all commonly seen there.
Just incredible wildlife. Any evening activities?
A sunset fishing trip on a traditional dhonie boat is a classic. You learn local techniques, and if you catch something, they often BBQ it for you right there.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
If you don't do the fishing trip, there are local cafes in the village. Shell Cafe for noodles or fried rice, Malavelli restaurant for things like grilled tuna, nasi goreng, even burgers.
Plenty of choice. Now, you mentioned day trips earlier. From a local island to a resort.
Yeah, that's a great option to experience both worlds. Many resorts in the Alif Dal Atoll offer day passes. So you can pop over, use their fancy pools, restaurants, maybe have a drink if you like, and see what the luxury side is all about.
That's a smart way to do it. Any specific resort suggestion for a day trip?
Boutique Beach was mentioned, not just for luxury, but also because they offer Maldivian cooking classes and have great diving.
Cooking class? Nice. And lunch at a resort.
Often a big buffet spread. More international variety, potentially alcohol, as we said. And definitely take the chance to snorkel the resort's house reef. Alif Dal is just renowned for marine life. Big stuff like mantas and sharks, but also amazing coral and fish.
You hear about coral bleaching. Are there conservation efforts?
Yes, definitely. Some resorts like LUX South Ari Atoll have active coral propagation programs, which is really encouraging to see, trying to help the reefs recover and thrive.
That's great. So after a day trip, back to Digura for the evening.
And you might even catch some local life in the central square. People playing sports bashi, which is a women's game, soccer, volleyball, or maybe even a Budu Baru performance, traditional drumming and dancing.
Sounds like a really rich cultural experience on Digura.
Exactly. A great balance to the resort experience we're heading towards next.
Okay, so days 5, 6, and 7, time for some luxury.
Yes, shifting gears to a private luxury resort experience. The Conrad Maldives Rannalhi Island is used as a great example in one of the accounts.
The Conrad. Pretty famous name.
It is. And it's interesting, even shorter stays at these top-end resorts are quite common, even for Maldivians treating themselves.
Good to know it's not always week-long commitments. What's special about the Conrad?
Well, it's actually 2 islands linked by a bridge. Rannalhi Fanolu is more family-oriented with kid stuff, while Rannalhi Island is adults only. So options depending on your travel style.
Clever. So you arrive. What's the first order of business? Pampering.
Sounds about right. Their overwater spa gets rave reviews. Maybe a sun soother treatment after being out on the boat. Or the spa retreat has more traditional services.
Ah, bliss.
And even relaxing continues with food at the Mandu Spa restaurant, which focuses on organic, healthy stuff.
Nice. But the big one at the Conrad, the underwater restaurant.
Yes. That's got to be on the bucket list, hasn't it? Dining 5 meters below sea level, set menu, local flavors apparently, and being in a reverse aquarium.
Incredible. Isn't there an underwater bedroom, too?
Yes, the Morocco residence. That's
Yeah.
ultra luxury, a whole different level. But if that gives you a taste of that underwater magic,
Okay, day 6 at the resort. What does that look like? Big breakfast.
you bet. The Atoll Market Buffet sounds epic. Beachside setting, live cooking stations, curries, sushi, pastries, mountains of tropical fruit, the works.
Sounds dangerous for the waistline.
Uh-huh. Maybe follow it with one of their daily yoga sessions. Balance it out.
Good plan. Any unique activities in the afternoon?
Yes, something really interesting called the Narulu Awa Cultural Village. It's on Rannalhi Island. It's set up like a traditional Maldivian village. You can see local women preparing specialties like fish curries or grilled seafood and demonstrating crafts like coral carving and reed weaving. A nice touch of local culture within the resort.
That sounds fascinating. A really thoughtful addition.
Yeah. And then, of course, just relaxing by the pools. They have one called a Quiet Zone Pool that's actually built out in the ocean.
Wow. Okay, dinner options for night 2.
Plenty. Coco Grill offers multi-course Japanese, very fresh seafood, cooked tableside. Or Rannalhi Bar is more laid-back Mediterranean food, cocktails.
Spoilt for choice. Any other cool evening things?
Nighttime snorkeling was mentioned. Apparently the reef comes alive differently after dark. You might see coral blooming, eels, octopuses.
Ooh, adventurous. I like it.
Right. Then day 7, maybe start with a quieter breakfast at Vilu Restaurant and Bar, a la carte options, Western and Japanese, plus a smaller buffet.
Or maybe squeeze in one last spa treatment.
Exactly. A facial at the spa retreat, perhaps, like the hydration abysses one mentioned. Treat yourself before heading home eventually.
Definitely. Afternoon activity for the last full resort day.
The whale shark talking tour sounds fantastic. Learn about them from marine biologists, then head out for a chance to swim with them again, or just more relaxed snorkeling on the house reef.
Just need to remember that 24-hour rule before flying if you were thinking of squeezing in a final scuba dive.
Crucial point, yes. No diving within 24 hours of your flight.
And a final farewell lunch.
Yufa Restaurant, specializing in traditional Chinese cuisine, sounds like a lovely way to wrap up the resort stay.
Okay, that sounds like an incredible few days of indulgence and unique experiences.
Absolutely, a real taste of Maldivian luxury.
So that takes us to days 8, 9, and the final day, day 10. What are the options here? It feels like the itinerary opens up a bit.
It really does. You've got a couple of main paths you could take based on the accounts we looked at.
Okay, what's option 1?
Option 1 is leaning into that budget-friendly, independent travel style. More island hopping between local islands.
Right, like we touched on with Dagura, but maybe exploring more. Which islands?
Several get mentioned. Maafushi is a big hub for independent travelers. Lots of guest houses, excursions, water sports. It's a good launch pad, though some say it's getting quite developed now.
Okay, so maybe a bit busier.
Potentially. Then there's Hanifaru, known for fishing, boat building, and surfing. Fulatu is quieter, good for snorkeling, cultural dances. Rastu is relaxing, has a bikini beach, cafes, good for dolphin watching and manta diving nearby. And Fodu is interesting. It's known for agriculture, lots of fruit plantations.
Wow, quite distinct characters. How do you get between these islands?
Primarily local ferries. They're super cheap, which is great for budgets, but the schedules can be a bit infrequent or unreliable sometimes, so you need to plan carefully.
Okay, requires a bit more flexibility maybe.
Exactly. Or you can use speedboats. Faster, more connections, but obviously more expensive. You'd stay in guest houses, eat at local cafes, or have meals included. Think lots of fish, rice, curry.
And the same rules apply about bikini beaches and modest dress in villages.
Yes, absolutely. And limited or no alcohol available. It's about experiencing that authentic local life on a budget.
Got it. So that's option 1, more local island hopping. What's option 2?
Option 2 is basically doubling down on the resort experience or exploring a different resort in another atoll.
So extending the luxury part or trying somewhere new.
Precisely. Maybe you loved your first resort and just want more time there. Or maybe you want to experience a resort known for something different. Maybe amazing diving, a specific type of villa, or just a different vibe in another atoll.
But transfers between atolls can be pricey, right? Seaplanes and things.
Yeah, that's a key consideration. Transfers can involve speedboats, seaplanes, or even a domestic flight plus a speedboat. It adds significantly to the cost and travel time, so you need to factor that in.
So if you choose this option, what are you doing for those last few days?
Really just enjoying the resort lifestyle. More spa time, trying all the water sports, going on different excursions, sunset cruises, sandbank picnics, diving trips, trying all the different restaurants.
Basically soaking up the amenities.
Exactly. And when choosing a second resort, you'd think about things like cost, how easy it is to get to, who you're with, whether you want an overwater bungalow or beach villa, what meal plan works best. All-inclusive can be good value if you drink or eat a lot, island size, how good the house reef is. Lots to consider.
Makes sense. Tailoring it to what you really want from that luxury experience.
And then, whichever option you choose, day 10 arrives.
The final day, time to head home.
Yeah. Squeeze in one last swim, maybe grab some souvenirs, take those final photos.
Try not to cry.
Possibly.
Hello.
And then it's back to Valana International Airport in Malay for your departure.
Sounds like an incredible 10 days, whichever path you take for those last few days.
Definitely. A real mix of experiences possible.
And we've mentioned food quite a bit throughout, but maybe let's just recap some highlights. Food is always a big part of travel for me.
Oh, absolutely. Maldivian cuisine really shines with its use of seafood, especially tuna and coconut in so many forms.
We talked about Maafushi for breakfast.
Yep, the shredded tuna, coconut, onion, chili. Delicious. Lots of different fish curries, usually served with roti. Grilled tuna is everywhere, super fresh. Tuna steak, biryani.
Spicy tuna dishes, fried rice, nasi goreng.
Yeah.
Sounds like some Southeast Asian influence, too.
There is, yeah. And those Sri Lankan touches like kotu and string hoppers we mentioned for hulu mail. Oh, and don't forget the simple stuff like fresh coconut ice cream and all those snacks at the market in Malay.
So you can eat really well at local places, the hotas, the island cafes.
Definitely. And then at the resorts, you get that huge international variety, continental options, fine dining, and those unique experiences like the underwater restaurant.
And the all-inclusive question at resorts, worth considering.
It really depends on you. If you plan to have several cocktails a day, eat 3 full meals, maybe snacks, it can be excellent value. If you're a light eater or don't drink much alcohol, maybe half board or just bed and breakfast works out better, you just need to do the maths for your own habits.
Good advice. Okay, so wrapping this all up, planning a perfect 10-day Maldives trip. What are the big takeaways?
I think a key thing is finding your right balance.
Yeah.
That mix between experiencing the local culture, maybe on islands like Malay, Hulume, or Dagura, and enjoying that incredible resort luxury the Maldives is famous for.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to choose just one.
Exactly. Also, realizing there's so much to do beyond just lying on a beach. The underwater world is obviously spectacular, snorkeling, diving, whale sharks, but also the cultural experiences, the food, the water sports.
And planning your transport is pretty crucial, isn't it? Especially if you're moving between islands or atolls, ferries, speedboats, seaplanes. It needs thought.
It really does. Factor in the time and the cost.
Yeah.
And finally, just embrace the food. Try the local dishes. It's such a delicious part of the experience.
Absolutely. And it really seems like with planning, a Maldives trip is genuinely possible for different budgets. It's not just ultra luxury anymore.
That's a huge point. Guest houses on local islands have really opened it up.
Okay, so to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Yeah, here's a thought. With all these options, the bustling local markets, the quiet fishing villages, the mind-blowing underwater encounters, the sheer indulgence of the resorts, what part of the Maldives is calling out most strongly to you for your ideal 10-day escape?
Is it immersing yourself in that authentic local rhythm?
Or maybe exploring the incredible blues beneath the surface?
Or perhaps just surrendering to total pampering and luxury?
Something to ponder as you start dreaming, and hopefully planning, your own Maldivian adventure.